Welcome back to our special coverage here on Nile TV International. Throughout the day, we've been bringing you updates from the different constituencies and also various governorates participating in the second stage of the parliamentary elections. With us live right now from Port Said Governorate, we have with us Linda Abdelatif. Linda, good day, and tell us more about how smoothly is the electoral process going on. We've been following with you the beat in Port Said and your interview with one of the observers and more. What are the updates, Linda?
Well, good evening, Taghreed. As you've mentioned, I'm right now in Port Said Governorate, and more specifically in front of Ashtoum El Gamil Primary School. Now, let me just begin by telling you that in the early morning, the polling station opened 23 minutes later than it should. The number was a little bit low at that time, but the numbers increased in the following hours, and the numbers in the following hours in the early morning were good and towards the afternoon. Now, after the resumption of the work, after the break that was assigned, that started at 2:30 and ended at 3:30, people started coming again, but in less number. Now, the numbers are expected to increase rather in the coming few hours or towards the evening. Now, let me also tell you that I've seen and I've managed to speak to very old women who came here in order to participate and be part of the 2015 parliamentary elections. One of the women that I spoke to was in the age of maybe 70 years old, and she told me that she's calling upon everyone to come and cast their votes. She told me that it is a national duty and that every single person has to come and participate. She told me that yes, it is the third and last stage of Egypt's roadmap, but if there's any other elections that take place in the country or any other important event, she will be participating until the last breath. Now, she told me also that she needs better health conditions and better education, and she stressed on the education. She needs more education and better education to her children. Now, also, I've managed to speak to her daughter, which was around maybe 40 years old, and she told me that she likes the transparency that is present right here at Ashtoum El Gamil Primary School. Now, you spoke about the international observer that I've managed to speak to in the early afternoon. Now, this international observer was from the Global Network for Rights and Development, and he told me, or actually he praised the organization and the well-education of voters who came and who knew actually what were they doing. They were very much educated and know about how they will be voting and all about the voting process. He also praised the security measures that are taken not only here in Ashtoum El Gamil School, but also throughout all the other polling stations that he was checking or that he was observing. Now, also he told me that in comparison to the runoff of the first phase of the 2015 parliamentary elections and in comparison to the Giza governorate in specific, he said that the number of participants right here in Port Said governorate is higher than those who participated in the runoff of the first phase of the 2015 parliamentary elections.
Great, Linda, that you have mentioned more about the sense of awareness of Egyptians, and it seems also that women are still dominating the scene.
Taghreed, could you please repeat the question?
Yeah.
In a louder voice,
I was saying that it's great, this sense of awareness that you've been witnessing among Egyptians, especially women who are talking about the next parliament with an eye on the future. They are talking about education. What are other concerns that people who came voting are putting on mind while they are choosing the candidates of the parliament that is going to reshape Egypt's future?
Well, as far as I can hear you well, the other demands included better housing and better actually health conditions as well. Now, they wanted everyone to participate and they wanted a better future for Egypt. Some of the other women told me that all they want is a better, safe and more safe and secure country and better maybe like housing, as I've mentioned, or more housing projects in the governorate of Port Said.
Linda, you've mentioned more about women and different ages. I mean, elderly women were there and also the young, about the women aged 40. How about other segments, the youth participation and the elderly were also featuring high?
Could you please repeat the last part of the question?
I was saying that the elderly were also featuring high. So how about other segment's participation in the voting?
Well, yes, the elderly, maybe aged between 60 and 70, were the majority right here in Ashtoum Gamil Primary School in Port Said Governorate. Let me just mention that right here, this school is only for women. It has a total of 7,119 registered women. Now, yes, there was participation among the different age groups right here in Ashtoum Gamil School, but the majority was among the elderly and the old. Yes, but there was huge or let's say fair participation among the middle-aged and the young. But let me tell you that seeing that the old women are the ones who are calling the young ones to participate, that was the interesting part, actually, to see that the elderly are more keen to have or to ask for a better future for their children or for the youth.
Thank you very much, Linda Abdel Latif, our correspondent from Port Said. A very effective beat, actually, for the elections. We're talking about women participating and also dominating the scene at different ages, not only at the age of 40, as Linda was mentioning, but also women representing the elderly were there. A great sense of participation, and we can sense here also the Egyptian sense of awareness when it comes to national duty. They are there when it comes to the elections. They feel the beat. They feel a sense of responsibility and national duty towards their country. Quite interesting also what she was talking about concerning the issues that are high on Egyptians' minds. If we're talking about a future of Egypt, and if we're talking about the upcoming parliament, talking about education and more. Well, with us right now, our correspondent, Basma Taha. Basma, would you tell us more about the feed at your end? How about the beat of the elections going on? You were earlier in the Sayyida Zainab district. Are you at the same place, Basma?
Good afternoon, Tagreed. I'm still at in Al Bahia School in Al Sayyida Zainab. It belongs to Al Sayyida Zainab constituency. There are 4 sub-voting stations in this school, and 21 candidates are competing for only 1 seat. There are also 17 main voting stations in Al Sayyida Zainab constituency. Tagreed, so far after 3:30 p.m. the number of voters increased, and I believe that the coming hours will witness also an increase in the number of voters. As you know, today the second and the final day of the runoff round of the 2015 parliamentary elections, the second phase. So far, Tagreed, everything here is going smoothly and everything is well organized. It took between 2 or 3 minutes for each voter to cast his vote and go through the whole voting process. As you can see behind me, heavy security measures are taken by the security forces in order to secure the voting stations, and also heavy deployment from the security forces are found everywhere so far.
Basma, we're expecting more to come throughout up till 9 p.m., right? You're saying that the number of voters are increasing, and I'm inquiring whether you talk to any of the voters and more about the demands from those candidates who are going to win seats inside this parliament, this parliamentary round.
Tagreed, it is really great to see the old people coming today to cast their votes, leaning on walking sticks and sitting on wheelchairs, believing that their voices will count, that their voices will lead to a better future for Egypt. They came today believing that it is a national duty, and they cast their votes for the sake of their grandchildren. Tagreed?
Thank you very much, Basma Taha from Al Sayyida Zainab constituency. Basma has been reporting on the beat of the elections in Sayyida Zainab district, a very popular district here in Cairo. We're talking about a composition of a parliament this time that is going to be quite special, a parliament that is going to have some sort of a number of verifying entities. We're talking about also tracing women competitiveness also in those elections. We're witnessing how far our parliament concerning the reorganization of the parties itself is also being witnessed. What is quite obvious from what our reporters tell us is the sense of awareness that the Egyptians do have, the political awareness, and the citizens' keenness to participate. Both Basma Taha and Linda Abdel Latif had reported that the elderly were very much keen to participate in the future of Egypt, in determining the future of the nation. They mentioned the category of the elderly featuring very high, talking about important files on the mind of every Egyptian, which is like education, like healthcare, and also concerning housing and more. So we're before a parliament that is going to be quite different in the Egyptian history. This is the second day of the parliamentary elections, and we've been witnessing earlier also more on behalf of the Higher Elections Committee declaring more clues about expats' votes and more. So a short break, and we'll be back. We're still tracing here the beat of the elections, parliamentary elections, live through the eyes of our correspondents. Stay with us.